That's warmer. That's what I like. All right, we're recording. Can you hear me?
Oh, you sound great.
Okay, not frozen.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Hello and welcome. I'm your host, Jeff. This is my co-host, Ron. How's it going, sir?
Hey, what's happening, man?
Not much. Welcome, everybody, to the Hooniverse podcast. I see you have finally snapped about the rain.
Yeah, I had kind of a breakdown after sitting in traffic, creeping along in the pouring rain for about 2.5 hours yesterday.
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm laughing at you, but it sucks, but it's still funny to me at the same time. Yeah, it's been a bummer, and you would think, with your all-wheel drive Audi, but it's the tires
Oh, dude.
don't help, and everybody else's driving doesn't help. And
Yeah. Well, I've changed the tires since that time I hydroplaned coming back from your place. So those are Pilot Sport Cup 2s. So they are basically, like no tread, and they're narrow. They're 265. So I put the 21s back on the car just because of all this rain. So They're Pilot Sport 4s. They're fucking great shape. They've probably only got a few thousand miles on them, like 4,000 miles on them. Like they're wide. They're 285s, all-wheel drive. Yeah, you'd think it would be no issue whatsoever, and for the most part, it is. But yesterday, I was on the 710 coming home, and there was just standing water in like the fast lane.
That's not a great freeway. Yeah,
it's not. And yeah, the car totally hydroplaned, and like I found myself like about to correct, and I was just like, nope, you just got to ride this out. And it was 2 puddles like consecutively, so the car went over like into the next lane, and then like came back closer to the wall. And that's when it was a little bit after that my buddy Zach called, because he was coming home from Hoonigan coming down the 710, and he was just complaining about the rain. He literally just called to bitch about the rain. And we're both transplants just like you are. Like this is not why we moved here, man. It's
right.
Like at this point it's outrageous. Like it has rained, it feels like more days than not since like the middle of December. So since the holidays, like it's just been like rain, like torrential rain, like every 2 or 3 days. So he called me to complain about the rain. And I was like, yeah, dude, like I hydroplaned like on the 710, like around Anaheim. And he was just like getting to that exit right then. And he was just like, oh shit. He was like, there's like an accident. He was like, oh yeah, it looks like, like a pileup, like a bunch of cars, like maybe one spun out, like it looks ugly. And I was just like, yeah, dude, we're literally not built for this. Not the people of Southern California, the drivers, or the roads.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy out there. I think we're going to need a little bit of a break, but who knows? We'll see what's going on. So I've written some stuff out. I actually have some stuff to talk about this week to make this maybe a potentially entertaining podcast with some car knowledge for people who listen. It was funny. Before this, I was listening to the session with Christian James Hand.
So was I.
And in the very beginning of it, he said, when can I come on your podcast? And he started fake talking about off-road stuff. He's like, the transfer case goes into the this and the that. He's like, see, I can come on. And I was dying laughing. It was funny shit.
Oh man, I missed that. I wasn't paying attention to the commentary, and I was having technical difficulties, so I left for a while. But
yeah, so did I. Funny. I didn't come back till the end of the Michael Jackson stuff he was doing. Yeah. So in car news, first one up is actually an Audi thing. Did you see that new e-tron?
No.
So it's a version of the RS e-tron GT, and the full name of this car is the Audi RS e-tron GT Project _315-2.
Jesus Christ, that's worse than Hellcat, Challenger, SRT, fucking Jailbreak.
Yeah, this is basically they're offering up a limited edition e-tron that gets the livery from the prototype.
Okay.
So they're painting it. It's paint, it looks like, and it's crazy. They're only doing 75 of them. The name comes from, that was Audi's internal code name for the car during development. So that's why.
What is it again? What is it?
The RS e-tron GT Project 315/2.
Project. That's how we're gonna get there.
So
project. Sorry, go ahead. I'm just looking this up.
It's got it's the first time Audi's ever put red rings on an Audi car, which is kind of interesting. Random little factoid there. But
Man, get the fuck out of here. This shit is silly as fuck.
guess how much they're charging for it?
I imagine it's all right. It says only 75 units, so I'm imagining it's got a $50,000 markup. So I'm sure that puts it over like 210, something like that.
Your markup's not bad, considering the base price is 140 something for an RS e-tron. It's 182 before any options or anything.
Yeah, okay.
I don't even know what kind of options you can put on it, because they give it the rear wheel steering, they give it carbon fiber roof, they give it all the options basically.
It's got a bunch of cool red shit in the interior. At least I think it's cool. Like I love red interiors and red interior accents. But this is a lot, bro. It's like dazzle print. It's like futuristic dazzle print on the outside, and that's paint.
I think it's paint.
I mean, it kind of rivals the. Did you see the AMG GT Black Series? Like I think it's like F1 edition, but like or edition 1. It's like the GT that like celebrates the Project One fucking car. It's like you had to buy that car. Yeah, you had to buy one to get the other, and it's got like a fade paint of like Mercedes. Well, it's like the TriStar emblems. Like it's got that like faded from like black to silver or vice versa. Yeah. And it's like supposedly that's painted too, which is fucking nuts. So I don't know. This isn't particularly attractive, but it's kind of cool.
You know what that car cost though?
The Black Series or the
AMG blah blah blah. I'm looking it up.
I'm sure that's like a $300,000-$400,000 car because it was super limited too.
I just saw a price and I want to make sure it's correct. Where the hell is it? I guess it was a 50,000 pound premium or 60,000 pound premium over the regular car. So yeah, it was. I'm sure it was a lot. And you can only buy it if you're one of the 275 people to buy the AMG one. So you couldn't even just buy it. Yeah, had to. Yeah.
Right.
And imagine, I think I made a joke about this when that car came out. Because imagine buying the AMG one and talking to a friend who also bought one. They're like, "Oh, did you get the other, the AMG GT?" You'd be like, "No." They'd be like, "What the fuck's wrong with it?" Yeah. So that thing's kind of crazy looking.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in more normal car news, sort of. Paul, you know how Paul Newman is famous for modifying those Volvo wagons back in the day?
Yeah, and he did one for Letterman. They had supercharged Mustang 302s. They had I think they had Kenny Bell blowers, like root style blowers on them.
He didn't just do that one though. He did a couple other Volvo wagons over the day. He has one of his Volvo wagons is on Bring a Trailer right now.
Fuck.
And it's one with a Grand National engine.
Oh, really? That's sick.
Yeah.
I never heard of that.
5-speed sourced from a Firebird. Car has 76,000 miles on it. And there's about, by the time this goes to air, there'll be a day left because there's less than 2 days now. What do you think that is sitting at on Bring a Trailer with, call it a day left?
A day left. I'm going to say that's probably in like the $50,000 to $60,000 range right now.
26.
Really?
Yeah.
Who built that car?
Someone mentions who built it in the someone's like, oh, so and so built that. Like everybody in Bring a Trailer knows everything. Right. So the answers are in there. But I thought it was interesting because it's like gray. It has what looks like Volvo's version of Pentastars. They call it like the Gemini wheels or something like that.
Is it the like? I don't remember the model names, but is it like the lower slung, like wider version, or like the tall, skinny, like early '80s version?
I think
don't know if it's like 240 or
no, it's the one like after that. I think it's the one after that. Like it's not curvy yet, but it's not that one. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Because they got curvier when it hit like
the more T5R years,
V60, maybe.
Yeah. No, not that. I'm talking about like before the like T5R era, like the like mid to late 80s, like were compared to the early 80s cars, they were lower, wider, boxier.
It's that. Yeah.
And the same model that had the V8s that
I think he
did for Letterman.
I think so.
I never knew about the Turbo 6 power car. That's sick.
Either did I. And the plate on it has Newman's, which is cool, and it's dope. I wonder what that's going to finish at, because it's not going to stay in the 20s. I can't imagine.
I mean, is it in good shape? Does it look like legit?
Yeah, it says that. It said there's like a small oil leak from somewhere, but that's not a big deal. The interior looks nice. The outside looks nice. I would buy that all day long in the 20s, and I'd be a buyer in the 30s if I had the money. That seems like a pretty sweet car.
Yeah, totally.
Um, Now switching to the other end of insanity, Lamborghini has started to share its Aventador replacement,
Mm-hmm.
and it's going to be a V12 plug-in hybrid.
Yes.
Have you seen the pictures of the chassis?
Yes, I saw like a video of like Lamborghini engineer or maybe like the CEO, like basically it wasn't a deep dive, but it was basically just like a an introduction to the chassis and the drivetrain.
Yeah,
And it looks pretty fucking sick. It's a clean sheet V12, right? It's not. It has nothing to do with the Colombo V12 or whatever the shit that they've been using for fucking 50 years. Like it's
that's a good
pretty,
question.
pretty
I
sure it's an
don't
all
know
new
that.
V12.
I wouldn't be surprised. I know it's 6.5 liters, so because the other one's six, right? Or is the current event? I don't even remember
For a long
anymore.
time, they were 6 liters, but yeah, with all the special editions, I don't know either.
Yeah. All I know is that the combined output they're speculating is 1,000 horsepower,
Right.
which is sick. But the crazy thing with the chassis is, it's carbon fiber monocoque, which the Aventador already is, but now they're replacing the front portion of the frame with carbon fiber as well. Then there's a lot more fiber reinforced plastics to replace aluminum. And then where the engine's going to sit, because it's going to sit in the same place, they still have to use aluminum back there, but it's hollow cast aluminum to save weight. And then it also integrates the mounting points for the suspension, right around the engine. I mean, it sounds like it's fucking crazy. Like it's probably going to weigh less than well, I don't know if it's going to weigh less once all the batteries and shit are in it, but it sounds like it's not going to wind up with a massive weight penalty
Sure.
compared to the Aventador, and that's crazy because it's going to have so much more power.
Starting point 1,000 horsepower. Like we'll probably
Yeah,
get up to like 1,500 or more with all the special editions. Over the course of its lifetime.
maybe we'll get
That's
back
fun.
to the era of you remember when the Countach was like taking out rich guys and stuff. Like maybe the Aventador will be a return to
Like
the insanity.
the Widowmaker.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all I got on the news front of this. Any news in your world, automotive related that's popped up this past week?
I'm getting ready to go out of town for a work trip, and I've been like super focused on like my presentation, like all the shit that I need to do in order to get ready for that. So like I haven't been. I feel like I've been out of the loop this week. Like I just have not been paying attention, and I don't know if there's just not enough going on, or if I'm just not in the loop. But yeah, not a whole lot. Trying to think, was like when did we talk last week? We did.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Believe it or not,
So
this is gonna
I
be two
mean,
weeks in a row.
yeah. Racing season is fucking in full swing, which
Oh, that's what I
is
wanted to
cool.
ask
But
you about.
like, but yeah, I mean, you know, like the NASCAR race in Phoenix last week, the NASCAR race in Fontana were both pretty uneventful. I mean, I don't want to say uneventful. That's not really true. Like it was a last lap victory in Phoenix, but
Okay.
I don't know. I sped through the race. Like I recorded the races and I caught up and watched them later, and like I sped through them. Excuse me, because they're just the kind of tracks where drivers can get ahead and get a lead, and like it's really hard to catch. But
Hmm.
in the case of the Phoenix race, like Kyle Larson, like pretty much dominated. He and his teammate William Byron looked like they were going to dominate, and like uh, Kyle Larson had it locked up with like 5 laps to go, and there was a caution, and they ended up going to two different fucking overtime restarts, and fuck, I don't even remember who won, but it came down to a last lap fucking sprint, like a 2 lap sprint. And it was exciting, but I don't know. It's just those kind of tracks don't really do it for me. So I
And
don't know.
this
I'm
is it
looking.
for Montana, right? That was it.
Yeah. Fontana. They're tearing down the super speedway. It's a 2 mile super speedway as it is, or speedway. I think they reserve super speedway for Daytona and Talladega, but it's a 2 mile speedway, which would make it like the third longest track on the circuit. That and Michigan and Texas and maybe Atlanta are like close to 2 miles.
Texas. Oh, size wise. Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, they're basically tearing it down and making it a short track, and it'll be a NASCAR short track. But like Penske used to own that track, and I think he opened it. So I don't know if they sold to NASCAR or who they sold to, but basically they're going to make it a short track, and it'll be a NASCAR track, but it'll be more of like a regional like
Interesting.
host, because there are NASCAR West regional series, and it'll be more of a home for them. It'll be something I imagine larger than Irwindale, and they say maybe the Cup Series, maybe the big boys will come back and race there, but I don't know how that's going to play out. I don't know if California will really support a short track like that, but they're the track as we know it is done. Like I think they were supposed to start demolition like as early as last week, like the week after the race. So
wow. Crazy.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. But I mean, to be completely honest, like I've been to a bunch of races at Fontana, and like it's boring as fuck. Like it's so easy for a guy to just pull out to like an insurmountable lead, and like unless there's a late crash or caution that bunches the field up, like it's just not great racing. Like the lap the field a couple times, like it gets just completely like blown out. Like it's not very competitive.
Well, that's a bummer. I wanted to bring up F1 because I know you're a fan.
Indeed.
What did you think of the first race?
First race was pretty much what everybody expected. Like Ferrari's woes continue. Like like they can't get their shit together, and then it was announced that they have a penalty, like a huge fucking penalty, because I think they changed out like the electronics, like for the hybrid drive system, like the control unit for that. And that's just a huge penalty. I think you're allowed 2 for the season or some shit like that.
Right,
and
they found it already.
Yeah, like there's something weird about it. Like I haven't really read into it, to be completely honest, but that was just announced I think yesterday. But it's like fuck, one race and like one car retired, and then they just like they have this huge fucking penalty. So it's like getting rid of Bonatti, their team principal, like is not really turn the tides in their favor. So they're still fucking up. Mercedes is still like middle of the pack. Fucking Alonso. Yep. One thing that I thought was interesting is that everybody's joking that basically Aston Martin copied the Red Bull design, like their aero package. So it was no surprise that Alonso was on the podium in what everybody calls like the third or the fourth Red Bull. So yeah, fucking Red Bull's going to continue to dominate this year. It'll be everything that Mercedes can do to be competitive, and Ferrari, they're going to be hit or miss. So it'll be interesting. But I mean, I feel like this season, like the stage is set for this season to be just like last season. But who knows, man? It'll be fun.
The American guy didn't do shit, right?
Nah. Logan Sargent didn't do shit.
What an American name.
Logan Sargent.
Reporting for F1 duty. Yeah, it's funny. I didn't get the joke earlier when I saw all the memes after the race because I didn't really pay attention because I don't really care about modern F1. But on the podium, I saw them. They're like, who is this? Someone was like, it's good to see 3 Red Bull drivers up here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I also saw another thing where after the announcement, it was like Ferrari managed to find a way to lose 2 races after 1 race, which is also just fantastic.
Yeah, because they're facing like a 10-place grid penalty going into Saudi Arabia. It's like,
it's amazing.
We haven't even got to the track yet, and we're already down 10 places.
Fucking A, it's awesome. Now, one thing I know you were paying attention to because you sent me a text about it. A certain show premiered last night.
You got some news, yeah, buddy.
Super Turbo Story Time.
Hell yeah!
Finally premiered on Motor Trend.
Congrats on that, man.
Thank you. I think you can watch it for free on certain. There's ways to watch it for free on TV.
Yeah.
Or you can just sign up for the app and or if you have it on. Whatever. It's my episode. Originally was going to be the season premiere, but we got pushed to episode 2. But they
released 2 episodes.
They released 2, so it was
on
fine.
premiere night.
Yeah. Originally we were going to be like 1 though, which would have been sick. But I think they wanted a bigger name. And I've been getting some texts that people really like it. I went to a premiere party for it on
TFTI.
was it Monday night?
Yeah, you did.
What's that?
TFTI.
I don't know
Thanks
what
for
that
the
means.
invite.
Oh, this one wasn't a +1 situation. I'm sorry. I didn't know what that meant. I'm not hip
Really?
to it. Yeah, I didn't get that one. No. If you know, you don't know. Drove the Jag
Yeah,
to the event because I need to burn off some of that fuel before I go get it smogged.
I'm sure that was a
Um,
hit.
it drove fine. Yeah,
Wait, why
they
do you
had
need to burn off
cars
fuel? I've never heard that
because I want to
component of
put
it.
lower octane fuel in it still.
Oh, okay,
Um,
gotcha.
because that's the one that's supposed to burn cleaner. Um, yeah, I was at the motoring club at their new location, which was cool. They had some nice cars there. The
Is
good
that
people from
Culver
Good
City?
Vibe.
Where is that?
No, it's now it's in it's like right off the 10, so it's further north, which
Well,
kind of
Culver
stinks.
City's
But
right off the 10, bro.
oh, I guess this is like on the border of would that be Venice or no?
It
I don't know,
used to
man. It
be
feels
like
way
in Venice
further.
proper or Marina Del Rey.
It feels much farther than the other location. That's all I know.
Okay.
But either way, it's a cool spot, and there's a lot of people there, which was good to see. The dude who's in charge of Motor Trend remembered me. He's like, "Oh, hey Jeff, good to see you." I was like, "Okay,
Wait,
hi."
who's in charge of Motor Trend?
His name's Alex Wellen. He's like the boss of Motor Trend.
Interesting.
And then Amelia Hartford was there. The comedian Paul Scher was there. Him
I
and
saw that.
Amelia
Yeah.
did like a live read. Yeah, there's some other people I didn't recognize that other people knew. Oh, Dai Yoshihara was there, which was cool.
Yep.
Hanging out, chatting with Jared Deanda. So it was good. There's a
My
lot of people
buddy
there.
Victor Creo.
Yeah, Victor was there. Bart, one of my buddies, Bart, who's a producer of Motor Trend, was there. A bunch of people were there. So it was all good. Good people, good times.
Fuck all
And
y'all.
then, yeah.
Just kidding.
And then it bounced. So the show's out and people like it, and hopefully it does well and there's another season. Because I had a few people who I won't name their names who are involved with the production of it. Maybe they said my episode was their favorite episode, so I'll just leave it at that.
I commended you.
Yes, you did. Thank you.
Texted you with high praise. It's not just because you let me join you here every week. I actually enjoyed it. I thought you did a great job.
Thank you.
Jared, I love you, but the fact that you got fact checked 3 times in like the first 5 minutes of your episode was just like, what? like, did you read the script? Did you prepare?
Yeah, they gave us the
It
subject.
was fun. It was entertaining. Don't get me wrong.
I thought it was fun when we had the conversation, but then when I saw the cut of it with the animation, I thought the animation just takes it to a different level. I thought the animation was really
Totally. That story, like I've never heard of that fucking vehicle. I don't want to give anything away. People go watch, but I'd never heard of that vehicle that you told us about, and that was fascinating, man.
Yeah, no, you can say it. I mean, the episode's out, and maybe it'll get people to want to go watch it. It was about this thing from the 30s called the Snow Cruiser that they built to go to Antarctica, and it was fucking terrible. And so it made for the animators told me they really appreciated that I did some random voices because it made their
Cool. Yeah, exactly.
Easier to draw that. So it was fun.
You guys knew going into it that there was going to be the animated component, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So they told us,
you definitely played into that very well, both of you guys.
They gave us a heads up to do that, so that was good.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's easier. I won't say, just watch the rest of it. That's all I'll say. And there's a lot of good stories and a lot of good people to come up. Johnny and Kristen Lee have an episode. David Freiberger and Brian Loans have a great episode. Brian's an amazing storyteller.
Yeah,
so I really want to see that one. Colton Dunn was in the first one. He's an actor.
I don't know who that is.
Amelia Hartford is in another one. Trying to think who. I mean, there's a bunch of Zoe Bell, who's an amazing stunt driver. She's in one. She was in like the movie Death Proof and stuff like that.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, there's some cool shit. So go watch it if you are able. I'd appreciate it. Now in our own cars world, anything happening on your end car wise?
Let me see. No, I'm getting pressured to get the K10 out of the shitbox speakeasy, actually fucking work on that and get it out. And now that it's warming up and I feel like it's a much more hospitable environment to work in, I am more motivated to do that. I would like to make room for that to bring the Lincoln into the shitbox speakeasy. I think I've hatched a plan. Like I've wavered on this for years and years and years. Like do I just rebuild the stock motor in the Lincoln? Do I do a motor swap? And I think I'm gonna do a Godzilla swap, the big like 7.3
7.3.
liter, yeah, V8, out of like the Ford Super Duty trucks.
Yeah,
There's a shop called Godzilla Garage, and I think they're in Canada because they list their prices in Canadian dollars, and like they sell basically
that's a good hint.
yeah, yeah. So I didn't realize that until like I like started like really deep diving and looking into this. So they like,
It's an aggressive name for what are probably very friendly people. Oh, you
yeah,
want to do a
exactly,
swap? Eh? Oh,
exactly,
okay, great,
exactly,
boy. Let's
exactly.
do it.
Yeah. So it like they sell basically a takeout engine trans package, and I think they probably have like an ECU and like whatever associated electronics. I think that's included as well. I'm not certain though, but basically they sell that package for something like 9,200 Canadian, and it works out to like 6,000 something dollars US. And like even with shipping, like I imagine I can get that shit freighted in for a decent amount, even if it's $1,000. Like,
Right.
if I'm in it like 75 $8,000, like I just think that's a reliable, torquey, like it's an appropriate drivetrain. I assume it comes with the 10 speed. I don't remember, but I feel like that'd be like torquey enough and modern enough to be reliable, get decent fuel mileage, and like allow me to enjoy that car like fully without smelling like gas, without worrying about, breaking down and like some obsolete part having to get, found somewhere remote America to get me back on the road. Like I don't look forward to that. Like I'd love for the car to look stock on the outside and have reliable power plant. Like it doesn't need to be a super hot rod, but just have V8 sounds and like get out of its own way and like have decent brakes and just make it something that's a fun, comfortable cruiser. So
That'd be awesome.
that's what I'm
That'd be
leaning towards. So I'm more motivated to get rid of the C10, a K10, get the Mustang back on the road. Truthfully I've been waiting for Sam to get rid of this FJ40 that he's got in the spot because it's blocking me, like it's blocking my spot, so I can't pull the Mustang out. I have to move it. It starts, runs, and drives. It's sold on Bring a Trailer last year. Excuse me, last month. But the fucking buyer flaked and didn't come through and just fucking ghosted him when it was time to pay up. So
That sucks.
that's a saga, and it just sucks for that deal. But I think it's going to relist at the end of the month, and hopefully it'll move. But yeah, it's just unfortunate, and it's kind of just like delayed me in my enthusiasm. I'm just like, oh, fuck it, it's cold and raining anyway. I don't want to go over there. So once that's out of the way, then I'll be much more, I don't know, enthusiastic about working on my own shit and making some moves here.
Nice.
I
Oh, that'll be cool.
We talked about this a long time ago, but I'm pretty certain that I'm going to sell the Audi in the spring,
Right.
and I really want to get my SL, hopefully a Silver Arrow. So I'm just
Right.
like, I keep seeing those cars pop up, and the values are not decreasing, and like there's still not a humongous premium
Right.
for the Silver Arrow, but it's just I feel like it has to be a Silver Arrow. So it's like before those things really explode. Like I've seen some for $40,000-$60,000, but I mean they're like no mile cars, and that's not what I'm
Yeah.
interested in anyway. So
No. You want a
that's
driver? Yeah.
yeah. I don't have any news to report, but I've got motivation and a plan. So
Yeah. There you go.
that's where I'm at.
Awesome. Yeah, as I said a second ago, probably taking the Jag in to get smogged this week. I just wanted to burn off some of that fuel. Drove it to and from LA, no problems. It was good to go there. Though when I got into it to leave the party, my dash lights weren't working, which never happened. And then halfway through the drive home, they just came on. So that's good stuff. I am waiting for the Montero check engine light to go away. I've put about 35 miles on it since, and they say, for an OBD1, you could be 50 to 100 miles for it to clear itself. So we'll see what happens. If that doesn't happen, I'm going to look at the wiring that goes into the sensor I replaced and see if that's just shitty wiring at this point. But otherwise it's driving fine. So that's good at least. And then I am going to pull up our Instagram questions because we got a decent amount of those.
Hey,
Anoche. Okay, let's see here. Come on, baby. All right. First one, I'm going to go from the bottom because that's really the first one. Let's see. Sean Keeley, worst dealership experience. I don't have a lot of dealership experience because I haven't really
No.
Jesus Christ. I haven't purchased new cars, but we did have an experience years ago when my wife, I convinced her to buy a kid I worked with was selling his 1999 and a half Audi. It was like a B5 1.8T. I was like, oh my God, this could be amazing. It's like a luxury car, you know, and we bought it and it ran fine for a while. And then all of a sudden it went to shit. Like the wastegate blew off the turbo, lodged itself in the cat. I'm like, this car's fucked. It's going to cost so much to fix. And it was my wife's car. I think she was still my girlfriend then. And no, we weren't married yet. And so we took it to the local Scion dealership to see if we could look at like the TC, and the pricing was just bad. And we were going to be upside down in the car. I was like, man, fuck. I'm like, we need to get out of this though. Cause all they did was they hopped in, they turned it on and turned it off. They didn't test drive it. I'm like, they don't know how broken it is. We need to fucking make this deal happen. So then we found a used Altima on the lot,
Mm-hmm.
and the price worked even though we were upside down. But we were at that dealership for like 6 hours, which is, they just wear you down. But we left with a working Altima that barely gave us trouble the entire time we owned it. And we somehow got out of the Audi because they didn't drive it. They just thought like, oh, okay. And we're like, bye. And I don't feel bad doing that to the dealership. But otherwise, like I've personally never purchased a car at a dealership. I've never purchased a new car for myself. When we got my wife's CX-5, I got that Mazda friends and family deal on it. So I think the dealership knew that like a journalist was coming in or something.
Sure.
Because we got it like and it was the easiest dealership experience I've ever had.
That's the thing, man. It's like if a salesperson doesn't smell blood in the water, if you come in like knowledgeable and like, you know, either connected or referred by somebody, like that's been my experience. Is like every car that I've bought new, I've been basically a friend of like, you know, somebody at the dealership either respects, fears, or loves.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's one of those like three. So it's like just no bullshit. But like I've helped other people shop for cars. Like recently I went with a friend to shop for like Mercedes SUVs, like fucking GLE and GLCs, right? Mm-hmm. And we ran the gamut from like the GLC 350 or whatever to GLE 53 coupe. Sure. And I'm just like, you know, I just lay back. Like I'm not like, they weren't high pressure. The sales staff wasn't high pressure to begin with. And I think my friend had dealt with this one salesperson before, like months before. Yep. And they were cool at first, but then it became like, oh, like there's a $10,000 ADM on all AMGs. And I'm just like, you don't need an AMG. Like you don't, like none of this is applicable to you in your driving style and how you're going to use this car. Like, sure, it looks sexy, but just get a regular fucking GLE. Like, fuck this AMG shit. Like, so you'll save like $12,000 without the AMG package. You'll save another $10,000 on the ADM. And so like the dealer's looking at me like, you motherfucker, what the fuck are you doing? You fucking up my sale. And it's like, it's like the last week of the year. And I'm just like, no, man, like you don't need this. And I'm like showing comps from Audi and BMW. And I'm just like, you asked me to come here to prevent you from getting screwed over and getting taken advantage of. So that's what I'm going to do. And like, I don't care about this salesperson. Like, no, you know, like, you know, they're not going to fucking retire off of you. They're not going to get their fucking Christmas bonus off one fucking sale. But also it was really disappointing. Like, I'm not going to name names, but it was just like, this is a Mercedes dealer. This feels like this feels like no, but I mean, there's no,
we might save somebody a trip.
I don't even remember the dealership, honestly. Okay. But, you know, I connected my friend with my friend at Audi Beverly Hills. Like, I will plug somebody that I know fucking, you know, takes care of people because we bought several cars from Audi Beverly Hills. Michael Tesh there is like the GM. He used to be the fleet manager. And like, you know, he went out of his way to like match and beat deals and like find the right car. Like, you know, I've got this, but I could trade for this. Like, you know, that's the kind of relationship and dealer experience that I'm accustomed to. So I don't really have any bad experiences myself. But yeah, it's just like, it's especially shitty and disgusting when, salespeople, male salespeople try and take advantage of women and
That's yes.
try and upsell and like pretend like, you can't separate one package from another, and like this is only available here, and like if you like this feature, then you've got to ante up to this, and like, if you're not
Ante up, motherfucker, it's Christmas.
I don't want to say we are experts, but I mean,
I wouldn't say that about
myself. New cars, but I mean, we're knowledgeable, and like, we also know the hustles. I
wouldn't
right?
get jerked around at a deal if I was going to buy a new car.
Right, that's what I'm saying. But
you
like,
can't hustler, baby.
Exactly, never shitter. But like as a buyer, as a retail buyer, if you're looking for a new car, do your fucking research. Like, understand
There's so much out there. You could go to a site like Kelley Blue Book, a site like Auto Trader.
Like, do your fucking research yourself and like understand like what options are available and what you really want. Like, if you go in and you have an idea of what you want, you'll be less overwhelmed by what they have on the floor and what they try and talk you into, because people just, they'll like, you don't want to believe that the guy standing 5 feet away from you is lying to you and telling you something that's not true, that's going to cost you way more than you want to spend. But that, like you said, that is his job.
Right. Going in with knowledge is like the scene in Scarface when he sees "the world is mine" flashing.
Right.
The "world is mine" part is your knowledge, and just stand there.
When you can impress upon a salesperson that you know more than they anticipated, then you have the upper hand, and they realize, all right, now I've got to impress this person with my service and my knowledge of my own product, and like really try and find them the right fit, not just fucking upsell them and trick them into buying something that not necessarily that they can't afford, but that they don't need and that they'll never make use of.
Right. And I am not trying to say that all car salespeople are bad. I know that's not the case. I know it's hard for you to be a good one in that field. As someone who tried to make it work in the mortgage industry as a truthful mortgage broker, and I was terrible at it because of that. I know it's hard for you out there, for all you good car salesmen. So,
but they are out there. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's they like, and once you find like somebody that's really on your side and like really tries to make the best deal for you, stick with them. Like,
and they're all.
I don't have loyalty.
I'm just kidding.
I don't have loyalty to brands, but I have loyalty to people in the car world. Like, I know, like my guys in sales and fleet sales, like I know they'll take care of me wherever they are, because I mean it's an incestual business. Like, they go from fucking Audi to BMW to Mercedes, fucking, in 1 year even. There's a lot of turnover.
Yeah. Next question from Sinuwe Xavier, who is an amazing photographer, cinematographer. You should follow on Instagram. Wouldn't it be nice if people based their personality on more than the car they own? Yes. Then we wouldn't have the Tesla people and the BMW people.
The BMW guys. I feel like he had BMW guys in mind with that.
Yes, I agree with you. I think there are situations where a car can influence your personality in potentially good ways. Like, I like to get outdoors and camp more since I have my Montero, though I partially bought it so I could do that. But it was like a double relationship. So I think there are small examples where it's good, but the majority of it 100% spot on. It's Marco Polo. When shopping, when does depreciation become a deal breaker? As someone who doesn't buy new, I don't give a shit about depreciation. I look forward to it because that's how we're able to buy shit. But if I was buying new, like if I was in the market and I was buying a new Land Rover Defender, I would just want it and I would get it and I wouldn't care about depreciation. But I would probably hold on to it longer than the average person who buys it, and depreciation is a factor for them. So it's a hard question for me to answer because I don't see it. It's not even something that enters my mind as a deal breaker.
That dude
Pacha.
I was just gonna
No,
say
go ahead.
I definitely factor depreciation into any car purchase that I make. Like,
Hmm.
whether it's a new car or a used car, like, I try and buy shit that I know is gonna have inherent value and it's not just gonna tank. And best case scenario, like my Tahoe, like I made a few $1,000s even after putting 20,000 miles, 23,000 miles on it and really not investing anything. Like, I got more than what I expected out of it, but I went into it knowing that that was my goal, is
Yeah.
not to
Okay.
lose my ass, not to have a depreciating asset. And like, that's why I'm super hesitant to buy new cars. Like, my lifestyle would have to be tremendously different for me to be shopping for $100,000 new car.
Right.
And it would have to be a very special car because I'd be so worried about taking that hit. Like, I would never buy a fucking Maserati. I would never buy an AMG
Poster child.
for a $10,000 or $20,000 markup. Like, that shit is just outrageous. And I mean,
Yeah.
things are coming back down to earth now, but like, there's still like ADMs just because of the scarcity of some of these cars and the fact that like dealerships can't get allocation. So like, I don't know, man. Like, some special cars are worth it, but you gotta. I don't know, man. You gotta do research and you gotta know like what is special and what's going to hold its value. Like, I'm not just
You
going to
know what
buy.
isn't?
I'm not going to buy an.
Monteros and Jags.
I'm not gonna. Yeah, exactly. I'm not gonna buy a fucking Jaguars, like a new Jaguar, a new BMW sedan. Like, they're the fucking lost leaders in depreciation. So
Yeah, Range Rover all the way, baby.
I don't give a fuck how cool it is. Like, I'm not doing that shit.
That dude Pasha. Any races coming up, Jeff? Potentially, we're doing Lemons Thunderhill in May, but I haven't had any updates on the car because there's been a lot of snow, and the co-owner of the car has been just skiing and snowboarding. And if that doesn't happen, we would definitely be in for Button Willow in the fall. But I'm hoping Thunderhill in May. So I don't know. Rob drives slow. My E92 M3 is being stupid again. Should I just sell it and buy a Miata? I mean, that's a very different car. So
Yeah, it's kind
I
of
don't
hard
know, man.
hard to
It's
go back from
yeah,
that high revving naturally aspirated V8. But like,
right.
is the motor the problem? Do you have like rod bearing issues? Like, what stupid how? Like, do you have trans issues, or is it just like interior electronics and shit? Like, that's
Right. You'd be better off. I mean, if you were gonna sell it to get something different, you'd be better off buying like a Mustang. To be honest,
sure.
it'd be closer to your E92 M3.
Yeah,
I mean, Miatas are great, but it's just and if you're looking for a big change, go for it. Have fun. I
right,
love the RFs,
right.
with the folding roof. Those things are awesome. But it's just a dramatically different car. So yeah, pretty cool projects. Being forced down the turbo route, is Honda going to lose its soul? I don't think so, because the cars still have a certain style to them. The interiors are built a certain way. There's still like just a quirky, like as far as Japan goes, quirky. Like there's just enough quirkiness to keep them still a Honda, still fun, still good. I would say the cars are better than ever right now in terms of just like if you wanted like a competent daily machine from a regular Civic on up to the Type R. You know, the yeah, I mean they're just good cars. So I think that's never going to change, and the stuff they can do with turbo engines is fantastic. I mean, yeah, the VTEC, naturally aspirated VTEC stuff is fun, but that's not where the world's going. So I don't think that they're losing their soul. It's just a new. They're turning the page, and you're still reading from the book of Honda. You're just in a different
Right.
chapter.
I mean, cars just are inherently heavier and more
Yeah.
packed with technology, so you kind of
Mhm.
have to compensate with turbocharging. Like, they're still free revving, like high strung, like fun to drive. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
that
we're not dealing with 2,600 pound Civics anymore, and
exactly. S two
yeah.
thousands.
Mine Coffee Clutch asks, if you had to buy a wagon, what would you buy and why? And I know why he's asking is because he has an RS6, which
Motherfucker.
you've been enjoying. And I like the RS6. I think it's a wonderful choice. It's not the one I'd buy.
Nope.
Um, I would be torn. I constantly bounce between the Porsche and the Mercedes, and you could catch me the same day, an hour apart, and I would have a different answer for you. But for me, it's a 1-2 between the Porsche and the Mercedes. And sometimes I'm like, man, that E63 is it. That's the one. That is the jam. And then I'm like, but that Porsche is a 911 with room for everyone.
Sure.
And then if you scale it back, I really like that V60 Polestar I drove.
Cool.
That thing was fucking awesome.
Interior's so nice.
Oh, it's so good. And I love gold coloring. So, all the brakes and fuck. What would you do?
2 words: drift mode. It has to be E63.
Okay.
Like the RS6, like I think it's just so. We've covered this before, but I think the RS6 was just like bloated. It's too big. It's basically like an SUV lowered, and the E63. I don't know. I think it's better looking, but also the fact that you can defeat all-wheel drive and fucking drift that bitch is just the fucking coolest thing ever.
Yeah, I mean it's. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. See, I mean, that's a great argument. And I've always been a Benz fan.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, you're not wrong. Mr. Steele, your dog says, have me on. It's not a question, though. And then he also says, how do you feel about the Meteor? I'm assuming you're talking about that Crown Vic in Scandinavia that has like the radial engine swap. It's a radial engine or a tank engine or something like that. It's awesome. I think it's one of the coolest fucking things ever. And I've been following it since they started working on it. If that's the car you're talking about. Yeah.
Well,
I'll send you a link after if you haven't seen it. Ron.
Please, yeah.
Evan J. Cruz asks, how's Ron's Lincoln project going? And we actually got a pretty good answer on that.
Yep. So, in case you only tune in for the question answer period, Godzilla swap.
No, there's 3 people left. They're all gone.
That's what I'm saying. Godzilla swap. That's the plan.
Yeah. I feel like half these people ask questions and just respond to my Instagram and don't listen to the podcast. Mystic Negro asks, how many guitars have you got, Jeff? Come on, pull the trigger. It's funny because he and I message back and forth all the time because I have so many guitar questions for him.
So do I.
Because he has like 30, 40 guitars.
No shit.
He's like, he said, you know how some people keep cars? He's kept every guitar he's owned since high school or something like that.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and so he's got tons of shit. So I'm constantly like sending him guitar memes now because I get them, and like just asking him questions. And I have not purchased a guitar of my own. I'm still playing the one that my friend Derek let me borrow, which is awesome, and I like it. But yes, there are things I'm seeing that I want to get. So hopefully soon. I have my eye on the. There's an Epiphone Les Paul finished in Koa wood, which is like one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen because I didn't know you could get Koa wood on a guitar, which is like a real nice light Hawaiian wood. And then I want to get that as an electric, and then I'm not sure what I want for an acoustic. I'm all over the place there, and it's not as big a deal to me on that side of things. So there you go, guitar answer. Taylor 356, Delta booked for trip from Boston to LA next month. Chances I get the Delta One upgrade. It's not as good as you think on a domestic flight. I'm going to say that. I'm going to sound like a snob. Have you sat in it, Ron?
Yeah. No, I have not, but I just like I've heard the same. So I don't know. Like I'm looking forward to my fucking companion upgrade, but I haven't planned a trip and I have no idea who I'm going to take, like where we're going to go. Right. So it's just like that's like I got to do something.
Yeah.
Go somewhere on the East Coast to take full advantage of this.
Yeah, I didn't use mine last year. I don't even think about it, which is stupid. Shit, I'm going to a wedding at the end of the month. I should have used it for that, motherfucker. Yeah, your chances are I don't know what your status is. That's all dependent. It's not that exciting of a seat. It's obviously better than everything behind it in the plane. But if you've been in business class going overseas, it makes Delta One domestic, look like Europe's economy plus.
Right.
This is a douchey conversation, but whatever. Dissonant Smithing asks, field trip to the Benz Restoration Garage at the LBC Airport. Yeah, always down. If you're in town, we will go. And I can.
Where is it?
So Benz Classic Center moved from 5 minutes down from me to right near Long Beach Airport.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, they literally
used to be.
They literally used to be like 3 blocks from me, and then they moved to right near Long Beach Airport. But yeah, if you're
how do we get in there?
I can get us in.
Okay,
I'm confident in that.
Come on, Chuck.
Yeah, get out here. Daniel Robert Deroux, who thank you for all your guitar advice, which I brought up without naming you last week. Kia EV9 thoughts, big and boxy, are back in style. Not sure the four spoke rims work. I think it looks rad as hell. I mean, it's like they made a futuristic electric Telluride,
Mm-hmm.
and the reaction to the Telluride has been amazing for Kia. So hopefully it continues into the electrified side, even though it's going to be, expensive because it's essentially a futuristic electric Telluride. I think it looks fucking dope though. Kia's crushing it right
Mm-hmm.
now. Yeah.
Kia, Hyundai, Genesis, all fucking like. I feel like there's very few losers in that group, but I want to say the Elantra and the EV6 are the only ones that I'm not like
See, I love the EV6.
on board with. Like, it's just the proportions are goofy. Like, the details are nice, but the proportions are goofy to me personally. But
Right.
everything else like makes up for it, and I think they are fucking crushing it overall.
And I feel like if there's something on the Kia side that you like less, the Hyundai version might be more appealing to you.
Exactly.
Like Ioniq
That's what I'm
5,
saying. Yeah,
so
totally.
so I'm trying to get my dad to go test drive Genesis's because he's like, I can afford something fancy right now. I'm like, go to a Genesis dealership and have your mind blown.
Hell
So
yeah.
he might go do it.
I've been telling my friends that are shopping for cars for the last 5 years, look at Kia and Genesis, and they all look at me like I'm a fucking asshole. And I'm like, all right, don't ask me for my fucking opinion because I'm telling you, like, you're going within 5 years, Kia, Hyundai, Genesis are going to surpass Toyota and Honda as far as design, as far as content, price point. Like,
I
that's
think
where
they're
it's
past the design wise. They're past them.
No, for sure. That's what I'm saying. But I'm saying I was having these conversations 5 years ago, and my friends are like looking at me like I'm a fucking idiot, and I'm just like, well, why did you ask my opinion? Like, obviously, I'm informed. I have
Right.
some like bearing of the industry
though.
and where it's going. Yeah, like
how it goes though. They just want their own opinion validated.
Yes, exactly.
But no, my dad is getting out of a Kia Seltos, which he's over.
I don't even know what that is. I've never heard of that.
Compact crossover. It's nothing special. But it served him well. But he moved from Boston to Florida, and he's like, I got to get something. He's a single 62-year-old. He's like, I got to get something cool, and I'm like, just go get a Genesis. Like, I know you can't afford Porsches and that shit. Like, even though I sent him some Macan, used Macans for like 50 or something like that.
You should buy your brother's Corvette.
Yeah, my brother let him drive it, and it blew his fucking mind. Another one from Daniel Robert Deroux. Follow-up question: have four-spoke rim designs ever worked? Mini JCW, maybe.
I'm glad he came back to that because I was like, I don't want to let that question go. I want to talk about four-spoke wheels. Four-spoke wheels are the fucking worst. Like,
worse than three.
I love 3-spoke wheels. 3-spoke and 6-spoke are my fucking sweet spot. I love a fucking 6-spoke wheel. I love a 3-spoke wheel. Obviously, 5 spokes are just like the industry standard. I fucking can't stand a 4-spoke wheel. Like, it's just like, to me, like in motion, it looks unbalanced. And like, it's like all I can ever think of is the Cavalier Z24, like that fucking almost like pixelated square, like it's just squares within a circle, like that shit just squircle. It just haunts me. Like, I hate 4-spoke wheels, and I don't care if you have 4 lugs. Like, just you can design around a mismatch of lug pattern and spoke pattern, right? Like, it's not ideal, but like there's easy ways to conceal, like for example, like a Viper or a first gen CTSV were 6-lug, right? I have no idea why the fucking CTSV was 6-lug, but anyway, like it made.
Was it running like GMC Sierra axles or something?
No, it wasn't. Like, maybe Trailblazer. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what was contemporary at the time that was fucking 6-lug. Like, it just never made any sense. And then maybe
it was just like Escalade, some Escalade.
It's not though, because it's 6-on-1 Escalade, and like GM trucks and SUVs forever have been 6-on 139.7 millimeters. The CTSV is 6-on 114. It's not. It has nothing to do with Escalade. It has nothing to do with anything else. So even now that I'm saying it out loud, like it's not even. It doesn't even have anything to do with the Trailblazer. Like I have no idea why they did that. like that was a European chassis. It was like an Opel chassis that that car was based on. So I like, but it's specific to the CTSV, and it's just maddening. It still pisses me off to this day because they made that choice.
Could it be something Australian too?
I don't think so. Like that,
Hmm.
they didn't sell Cadillac in Australia, as far as I know.
Yeah, but maybe it's like maybe it's like Commodore axles.
All the Holdens and all that shit, 5 lug, everything 5 lug. That's what I'm saying. Like it doesn't make any sense. Like it would make sense if it was a parts bin decision, but it's not.
Right.
Like even like I think the I even think the STSV was 6 lug. I have to think about that. Or maybe it was
I always forget about that car.
Or maybe it was the XLRV. Another one of them was 6 lug, and like for a while, like we were working with like the company that I was working at was working with this company D3, which was like a actually Long Beach based Cadillac tuner, and they were working directly with Cadillac. So we were working to like make 6-spoke wheels and make like a full tuning program with wheels and like body kits and all this shit. And I thought I'd fucking like had the best idea ever because those cars had such high offset. The fitment sucked. I was like, dude, we need to come up with a fender flare package and a 5-lug conversion or a line of 6-spoke, 6-lug wheels to like, like blend this design, make it seamless. Like that was just maddening. But
was it a black dude who owned that company?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. James Gill. I forgot his dad's name, but
did he have a coupe?
Which coupe?
CTSV coupe.
Oh yeah, fucking crazy wide body coupe with a big ass GT wing. I think I
saw it at like the original Irvine Cars and Coffee. He rode like with his wild Cadillac. I think was it
white or matte black? Because they did 2 crazy wide bodies.
I feel like white. It might have been.
Yeah.
I think I met that guy.
Yeah, they were good people, and like they had great ideas. I don't know. The company folded at some point. I'm not sure when, but they were good dudes, and I loved working with them. And Cadillac is my favorite brand historically because it's my family's favorite brand. My grandfather owned like 22 Cadillacs in his lifetime. My dad had a bunch of Cadillacs. Like I'm genetically predisposed to liking Cadillacs and chicken. But anyway. It was cool working with them.
Some guy who only listens to the podcast right now is like, wait a minute. Is Ron black? Oh shit.
But yeah, 4-spoke wheels, fuck them.
I can't think of any I like, but I hate.
There was like some Lolas and like what is the new
the race car ones? Yeah.
But the new rebrand.
I don't like 3-spokes. I hate 3-spokes.
Man,
fucking hate them.
No man,
never liked them. I'd rather have a set of Renault Bears on a car than a set of 3-spokes.
Get some imbalance in your life. There's nothing better than the look of like a chrome 3-spoke, especially. Just like it looks so weird and wrong. And it's just
that weird. Like there's a 2-spoke. It's like some kind of crazy 2-spoke out there.
Oh, I was my first job in the automotive aftermarket was at Arelli Alloy Wheels, and that wheel was called the Assassin. It was a 2-spoke, like yin yang looking wheel.
Yeah.
And like it flipped harder than anything on the planet. Like just the like reflections of that thing going down the street were just mind blowing. It was as weird looking and as like just off putting and like nothing got a gut reaction like spinners other than the Arelli Assassin. Like that wheel was so fucking popular. I sold that.
Remember when spinners came out?
Oh yeah,
that was the most mind blowing shit.
LA Auto Show, Sprewell Motorsports had an E-Class wagon with 20-inch spinners. They may have been 19s, but they just had a display and they had like a plexiglass stand, like plexiglass, like just plate in front of the wheel so that you couldn't put your fingers in and fucking. And they just sat there and like they showed a video on a TV, a cathode ray TV. This was before flat screens even at the LA Auto Show. They just had a CRT TV with a video of that fucking Benz pulling up to a stoplight and the wheels continuing to spin. Everybody was just like, what? What?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's I can't believe I forgot Sprewell Motorsports. I
Yeah.
totally forgot about
I
that.
I don't I
What
don't
is
have the luxury of
Latrell
forgetting it.
Sprewell doing? Is
I don't know. I don't know.
Jesus,
That was
is he
actually a
alive?
successful business. Yeah, I think he is, but
I gotta Google Latrell Sprewell. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, he's not that old.
yeah,
I'm
but
crazy,
he
but
has disappeared from public view.
yeah,
So
I wish he still did Sprewell Motorsports. I don't know. The last thing it says in his Wikipedia is that in 2011 he owed the state of Wisconsin $3.5 million in unpaid taxes. So,
yeah, he might be in jail. could,
oh shit!
could be locked
What
up.
a way to! I gotta like tag the title of this now, which is gonna be something about Sprewell Motorsports, because that shit is great. But I will
Oh,
do it
man.
after if I remember. Thank you all for listening and asking questions and watching. If you're watching,
Indeed.
um, we'll be back next week. I think we're doing pretty good. 2 in
Maybe.
a row. How about
Maybe.
that?
Oh, I can try and do this on the road. I'm going to be on the
Oh
road
yeah,
next week.
no. You know what? Josh wants to come on,
All right.
and then
Do it.
there's a couple other people who might want to come on. So maybe I'll just get a guest for next week.
Fuck me.
So we'll try to keep it going. Yeah. Adios.